Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Mr.Fixit channel. I got the Polaris 400 in the shop again, and I'm going to mess around with the steering stem. Stay tuned.
I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall.
Alright, so I've been noticing some gradually increasing play going on in the steering stem here. So I've got an up and down motion here, and there's a play and a side to side. So let me show you what's going on. Alright, so this right here is the nut to the bottom of the steering stem. That side to side movement there. Also this up and down motion here. So let me see if I can improve on this a little bit. So this is the parts breakdown assembly of the steering stem, and I got this up on my phone and just wanted to kind of show you what all is involved. So we have this part right here, which the steering stem goes through. It looks like we got an O-ring and a washer on top of that. We got an O-ring on the bottom. And we got a washer, some kind of bushings, another washer, and then a big nut. And also there is a split pin or a cotter pin that goes through the castle nut. This is a castle nut. So the problem is right in here somewhere. This part is riveted to the frame. It looks like I do have a spare part on my spare quad, so I may be getting that out of there. I don't know. This particular website is Partzilla. A lot of these websites will have these parts breakdown. You just got to go in, select your year, make, and model, and all that, and then they'll have all the lists. So pretty handy. Alright, so my plan here is I'm going to undo it here at the bottom and hopefully pull this up far enough to get it out of that bushing and not have to take any of the rest of this apart. That's my plan. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this bolt to the two heim joints on the tie rod ends. 9/16 on either end. You notice one's on top, one's on bottom. Make sure the bottom one stays on the bottom. Like you wouldn't want to put this one here and this one there. That'll screw up your toe alignment. Okay, we got a nylon locking nut or nylock, a washer. Push this bolt through. Steer it all the way to the right here. You should be able to push that bolt all the way out. Just enough room to get that out of there. Okay, we got a big fat cotter pin or split pin in there. So I'm just going to use a set of side cutters here, and I'm going to try to bend these tabs in this pin straight. I know it's kind of hard to see in here. I apologize for that. Ow. These things are always a pain. Try to tap that through with this hammer. Okay, I'm going to go on the other side of that nut and grab it with these and try to pull that out. Got it. Okay, this nut's so loose it's probably just going to twist off by hand. Okay, got that out of there. A big rubber wash, a big flat washer on there. Oh, I dropped that washer down in there. That's fun. Oh, got that. Okay. Okay, yes, it is that weird shaped bushing that's loose. Okay. Probably have to replace that guy. Here's that O-ring. I should be able to pull that up out of there now. No, I can't. Why can't I? Just in case you were wondering, this nut is 1 15/16 inches. So this is what's left of my parts quad. I mean, I got some other stuff, but I just wanted to show you what's going on with the steering stem, because this is way easier. You can see everything here now. My intention was to just pull up on this and try to get it out of that bushing down there, but we got this shoulder right here that's catching this bushing. So I got to take this bushing loose in order to pull that up out of there. So you can see there's the nut in the cotter pin. These are to adjust your steering lock. So these are adjustable. That's pretty cool. So there's a good look. So I'm going to work on getting this out of here and then take it up there to the shop and try to get this replaced. That's just the clamshell bushing. It just splits right apart. 2 bolts up here held that bracket in. So I'm gonna have to grind these rivets out. That sucks. Let's see, because this is easy to do on this one, but on the other one where it's all together, that's gonna be a pain. Best way to do it might be to come grind the bottoms of the rivets, because you know this is blocked off right here. You know, I cut all this part out for my buggy. This is where the rear of my buggy come from, the 2.0 cross cart. So grind these rivets. Alright, so this is the part I am replacing. If we look on the diagram here, it is part number 15. So if we scroll down, there it is. They actually have one in stock. There's your part number. This is at Partzilla. You can also look up Cheap Cycle Parts, Revzilla. There's several different websites. Rocky Mountain ATV, so on and so forth. But if you want to go through Partzilla, hashtag not sponsored, that's your part number. Luckily I have one on my parts quad. I had to grind the top of the rivets off to get this out of there. So we'll see how hard it is to get the one off of the machine with it all together. Yay. Okay, so since I have to undo that bushing on the top, I got to take the red plastic off here, especially this part up here, so I can get in there to get to those 2 bolts to pull that bracket and everything and that bushing apart on top. Then I should be able to lift the steering stem out. I may go as far as unbolt the handlebars from the steering stem and then kind of set this off to the side. And I may just pull the whole steering stem out because I want to check the bottom of that, make sure that that's not, you know, damaged or wallered out. Because I did grab the steering stem out of the other one, so if I have to, I'll replace the whole thing. Alright, there's only a few screws in this, so I gotta pop the seat off, pop a few screws out of this, pull all this red stuff off, get the handlebars undone. Let's get this out of here. Alright, I got the steering stem pretty much out of there. In order to get it all the way out, I got to take this tube out. It's riveted in underneath the oil tank, so it's a bunch more that you'd have to take apart if you want to actually get the steering stem all the way out, because it won't fit through the hole here. So I'm just going to check real quick. I got it poked out down here. I'm just going to check and make sure there's no wear on this. And if not, I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to replace that bushing. But if you got to replace your steering stem, you got to take more stuff apart here. This plastic tube's got to come out, and the oil tank looks like it's got to come out too, maybe, because they're riveted down to the frame. Alright, so what I discovered is right here is the bushing, and it may not even be wore out. It's the rivets come loose, look. So this may actually still be good. It may just be the rivets that are loose. But either way, I still got to get this off of here and figure out a way to make this tight again. Alright, I'm going to try to get in here and cut the bottom of these rivets off with a die grinder. Alright, I'm just trying to pry up on it, hoping the rest of that rivet will pop through the hole there. Around the other side now. I know it's really hard for you guys to see. Alright, so this thing's about ready to come out. I just got to take these steering stops out right here, these hex on both sides, that one and this one. So this will come up past it. Alright, these are 7/16. Hopefully these play nice. Oh, yay. Don't let me forget to put those back in. Can't get on that one. Is it bent or something? Can't get the socket on it for some reason. Just trying to pry it back some, so maybe now. Sometimes you struggle with this stuff, you know. You never know what you're going to end up struggling with. Struggle is real life. Probably going to go on the other side and try to get it from that side. There it is. Alright, so I'm just comparing the two. This is the part that came out of my quad. This is the part that came out of the parts. Doing some measurements in here. This is actually only, what, maybe 5/1000ths bigger in size than this one. And that's nothing. That's a little bit wider than the thickness of a hair. So this part is actually, there's nothing wrong with it. It was the fasteners that failed. So I guess that says something about the design, the materials used, and the maintenance, keeping this thing greased. So I can use either one of these. So I got a good spare part and a good part. The question now is how do I fasten it back in there? Do I replace it with rivets? Or do I try to bolt it? I don't know, I have to think about that. Alright, so I was going through everything I got. I don't have any of the big rivets that I need. I'd have to go to town. Plus I don't know if I want to use rivets again. They could loosen back up, and the only way to tighten them is to grind them back out and replace it. So I decided I'm going to use bolts. I want to have a lock washer, and that's a brass nut, and I'm also going to use some Loctite and bolt this thing in, so that should hold it in there, and if it comes loose again I can just tighten it back up. I did have to shave the top of the bolts off, the head, to fit underneath the steering lock adjusters. So that's how I'm going to put it back together. Although it probably would have been easier to just rivet it. I'm going to go get another lock washer. I dropped one. Alright, it's going to be so much easier for me to show you the parts stack up on this, up here on the bench, than it is in the dark over there. Okay, so on the steering stem first, you've got a big flat washer. And you get an O-ring. And then this bushing goes on. There's a recess in this bushing for that O-ring. So that seats in there. Now you have another O-ring. There's another recess in the bushing on the bottom for that O-ring. Then you get a big flat washer. It's the same washer here. All three of these washers are the same. So you get a washer, an O-ring, a bushing, an O-ring, and a washer. Then there's this rubber washer. Then you get another big washer. And then your nut goes on. Maybe. And that all gets sandwiched in with this nut. And that holds it tight. So if you get it too tight, the tighter you get this, the stiffer this is going to be. But you got to remember to line up. You got to line up that hole for the split pin to go through. And that's how it all goes together. Of course, there's your grease nipple, your Zerk. The only reason I can figure why this rubber piece is in here is I think this is what preloads this. Because if you tighten that nut all the way down, it'll just jam it up. So I think you tighten it against that rubber, and that rubber is what preloads. So if you don't have this, you might have to find something similar. So just thought I'd throw that in there. And more about this little rubber washer in here. This is the one that came off of my machine. This is the one that came off of the parts. This one has swollen, or someone has replaced it with the wrong deal, but it looks like it's that just swelled up maybe. I don't know. This one's more firm and a lot smaller than that. I think I'm going to use this one because this looks more like what it should be. This, I don't know, maybe the grease reacted to it. I don't know. I'm going to use this one. Alright, that new bushing's in. It's bolted down, Loctited, all that jazz. I need to put the steering stop adjusters in and drop the steering stem back down in there and start putting everything back together and see where we end up. It is nice. It's nice and tight. I like it. I'm going to go ahead and grease up that fitting and a couple of the other ones that are right here while I'm at it. Don't tighten that nut up too tight. That's basically hand tight with one more castle, one more slot turned around it. Just barely tight. Any more than that and you're just crushing stuff. So just get it snug. Alright, no more play side to side or up and down. Yes. Boy, that's been bothering me for a while now. I've been wanting to fix that forever. Finally getting around to it, and it was totally worth all the effort. Yeah, it took me pretty much the entire afternoon, but I did get it done. I actually didn't have to replace any parts. I just had to replace the fasteners to a part. So go figure. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing, and don't be afraid to fix it. Thanks for watching.